Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Preeta Manivanan. News making the headlines. Police assure safe and undisrupted voting for Sabah state election. And no phantom voters for Sabah Polls, says EC chairman. Good morning. Police have given their assurance that polling for the Sabah state election on Saturday will run smoothly without any disruption. Now, Sabah Police Commissioner Datuk Hazani Ghazali said the voters can discharge their moral obligation to vote without any worries. Datuk Hazani stressed on Friday that stern action will be taken against anyone who tried to cause provocations or unrest during polling on Saturday. He said this based on intelligence received by the authorities that a large number of foreigners are planning to enter Sabah to cause trouble throughout the election.
Keseluruhan PDRM sahaja untuk penugasan pilihan raya kali ini termasuk pos-pos, PGA, pasukan polis Marine dan juga kawalan sempadan darat seramai 9,097 pegawai dan anggota. So kita yakin kita boleh mengawal sepenuhnya.
He added police have also successfully intercepted several attempts by foreigners to enter the country's waters illegally. Despite this, security at the country's land and maritime borders will be heightened to ensure any further attempts to enter the country illegally will be thwarted. At the same media conference, Datuk Hazani Ghazali warned social media users not to spread any information which could tarnish the reputation of any individuals on the polling day on Saturday.
Jangan membuat provokasi, jangan mengadu domba, jangan viral apa juga bentuk yang boleh menjejaskan reputasi individu lain. So besok kalau terima perkara-perkara berkaitan dengan perintah palsu, nasihat saya, jangan sebarkan memuat naik atau berkongsi status berbentuk spekulasi tentang apa jua perkara yang belum pasti kesahihannya. Yang seterusnya, jangan terlalu cepat percaya dan kongsi.
Meanwhile, the Election Commission EC has also given an assurance that there will be no phantom voters in the 16th Sabah state election on Saturday. EC Chairman Dato' Abdul Ghani Saleh said this is because all voters were registered based on the data obtained from the National Registration Department JPN. He also said that final preparations for polling are proceeding smoothly.
Data pemilih kita daftar yang kita ambil senarai daripada Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara. Maknanya mereka terdiri daripada warga negara Malaysia. Jadi tidak timbul ada pengundi halimunan dan sebagainya. Daftar kita adalah daftar-daftar resmi di mana semua mereka yang kita daftarkan adalah warga negara Malaysia.
Dan pihak SPR mengetatkan kawalan, tidak ada undi magic.
Tidak ada. Ini saya garanti tidak ada.
The EC chief was speaking to the media after inspecting preparations at the vote tallying centre for the N26 Moyok seat at the Penampang Cultural Centre on Thursday. He also reminded voters to bring along their identity card and to stick to the voting times suggested by the EC. Dato' Abdul Ghani said the EC would be using 20 helicopters to carry ballot boxes to the interior areas. A total of 1,088,711 of the 1,103,646 normal voters are eligible to cast their ballots on Saturday, as 14,935 people had voted by post.
Perubahan senario politik. Mandat dipertaruhkan. Kini kuasa rakyat dikembalikan. Siapa peneraju baru mandat Sabah?
Semuanya bakal terjawab
Sabtu 26 September 2020.
6 petang hanya di TV3.
The 10 billion ringgit Prihatin supplementary initiative package, Kita Prihatin, is expected to have a positive impact on the nation's economic growth in the fourth quarter of 2020. Finance Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the economic stimulus packages announced by the government, worth a total of 305 billion ringgit, are expected to contribute 3.7% to 4% of the nation's gross domestic product (GDP) this year. The move will also place the country in a better position for an economic recovery by 2021. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin announced the Kita Prihatin package comprising the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional 2.0 targeted wage subsidy program and Prihatin special grant. He added the BPN 2.0 will not only ease cash flow challenges but also allow individuals and families to purchase their daily necessities, including promotional items under the Penjana initiative through the Buy Malaysian Products campaign. Those who wish for more information on the packages may visit the website as stated on the screen. Stern action, including blacklisting, will be taken against companies and employers who abuse the wage subsidy program. Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said this is following complaints received against employers who fail to pay the wage subsidy to their employees.
Aduan telah diterima di mana majikan telah menerima subsidi upah tetapi tidak bayar kepada pekerja adalah sebanyak 89 majikan yang melibatkan 846 pekerja yang jumlah terlibat adalah 0.67 juta. Itu ada juga satu lagi masalah di mana ada juga syarikat-syarikat memberi dokumen palsu.
He revealed that 1,663 companies were also detected using fake documents to apply for the wage subsidy for their 14,800 workers, involving a claim of 31 million ringgit. The minister stressed that those found abusing the program would also be brought to court. The wage subsidy program was introduced on April 1st to help lessen the burden of employers and employees affected by the implementation of the Movement Control Order, which was enforced to curb the spread of COVID-19. The number of new COVID-19 infections in the country surged to triple digits again on Friday, with 111 cases reported. Sabah once again recorded the majority number of cases at 97. The new infections brings the total number of cases to 10,687, while no new deaths were recorded. 4 of the total cases were imported ones. According to the Health Director General, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, the 97 cases in Sabah comprised 74 from the Bangau-Bangau cluster, 13 from the Benteng LD cluster, 2 from the Laut cluster, 2 from hospital reference screenings, 2 workplace screenings, 1 severe acute respiratory infection SARI case at the Tawau Hospital, and 1 international entry screening case. In a statement, he said the death toll remained at 133. Of the 4 cases in the intensive care unit ICU, 3 needed respiratory assistance. The Health DG also said that the Institute of Medical Research IMR has detected a D614G type mutation in all 32 COVID-19 virus samples in 5 clusters. He said these tests were preliminary tests and several follow-up tests were being conducted to compare the virus samples with the COVID-19 phylogenetic tree. Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham called on the public to remain vigilant and careful as the COVID-19 virus with D614G mutation was found to be more infectious. In another development, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said all fine salt or salt that weighs 20 kilograms or less must be added iodine before it can be sold in the country. The Health Director General said the amendments to the regulation were made following a nationwide study of iodine deficiency disorders, which found that 48.2% of primary school students aged 8 to 10 suffered from iodine deficiency. In a statement on Friday, the Health Director General said, besides that, 2.1% of children suffer from goiter. Surveys involving pregnant women and school students also revealed that their iodine intake did not reach the optimal level. Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said the regulation is based on the amendments made to Regulation 285 regarding iodized salt under the Food Regulations 1985, gazetted on November 12, 2018, and to be enforced on September 30th. The government has decided to implement a targeted enhanced movement control order (TEMCO) in an area located at Alostar, Kedah due to the high number of COVID-19 cases still occurring there. Now, Senior Minister for Security Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this follows the conclusion of the administrative EMCO in Kota Star district, which began on September 11th and ended on Friday. In a statement on Friday, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said the area with the highest risk of infection is now Tongkang Yard Flat in Seberang Perak, where 94 residents were screened and 9 of them from 5 houses tested positive for COVID-19. The extension is to enable a second round of screening to be done by the Health Ministry. Police and Malaysian Armed Forces personnel will maintain movement controls at the location to ensure all residents abide by the standard operating procedures and quarantine order. The senior minister also announced that Sekolah Kebangsaan Sungai Korok Lama would be closed from Saturday until October 9th. After the break, 5, including 3 students, hurt in a shooting incident outside Banting School. Details when we return. Welcome back. A man and his bodyguard were injured in a brazen shooting incident in front of a secondary school in Banting, Selangor on Friday. The duo were travelling in a blue BMW car when they were shot several times by 2 men on a motorcycle about 100 metres from Sekolah Menengah Teluk Datuk. In the 12:45 p.m. incident, about 9 shots were fired at the victim's car by the suspects before they made their escape. In a bid to flee the gunmen, the driver of the car crashed into several other vehicles and 3 students who were waiting by the roadside. Fortunately, these students were not seriously hurt and are now being treated at the Banting Hospital. The 2 shooting victims were also taken to the same hospital for treatment before being transferred to Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital in Klang. State CID Chief Datuk Fadzil Ahmad confirmed the incident, adding that authorities are currently on the hunt for 2 suspects. It was believed that the motive of the shooting was rivalry between 2 gangs. In Melaka, 2 brothers were charged in the Alor Gajah Magistrates Court on Friday with the murder of their friend during a fight involving a group of men 2 weeks ago. 28-year-old truck driver T. Tureiraj and T. Gunaraj, 27, who is unemployed, only nodded when the charge was read against them before Magistrate Nur Hasmanita Abdul Manap. No plea was recorded as murder cases are under the purview of the High Court. The siblings were accused of killing 25-year-old R. Anbarasu, also a lorry driver in Taman Pangkalan Indah in Alor Gajah on September 13th. The charge under Section 302 of the Penal Code carries a mandatory death sentence if convicted. The court set October 30th for case remention. Also charged in the same incident was a storekeeper, 30-year-old M. Ananababu, who was accused of causing injury to 33-year-old T. Pragash, the brother of the 2 siblings, using a machete. The accused pleaded not guilty to the charge under Section 324 of the Penal Code, which provides for a maximum jail term of 10 years or a fine or whipping or any 2 of those punishments if convicted. Ananababu also pleaded not guilty to a charge of causing damage through act of mischief by smashing the windscreen and side mirrors of a Proton Vira belonging to Pragash at the same place and time of the murder. The court denied bail and set October 3rd for case remention. It was previously reported in the media that a man was hacked to death after he was believed to have shown his genitals to someone's wife in a fight incident in Taman Pengkalan Indah. In Pulau Pinang, police arrested 3 men after crippling a heroin processing laboratory in Seberang Perai. State Narcotics CID Chief ACP Mustafa Kamal Ghani Abdullah said police seized various types of drugs worth more than $500,000 ringgit in a raid on a luxury condominium in Bukit Mertajam. Acting on information and intelligence, a police team busted the laboratory and arrested a 33-year-old man at the premises. In the raid, police also seized 17 kilograms of heroin, 15 kilograms of caffeine powder, 8,670 grams of shabu, and 15 bottles of chemical liquid, all worth 587,000 ringgit. Police also seized a pistol with magazine, holster, and 43 live ammunition. Probe is underway as to whether the confiscated pistol was used for criminal activities. Police, however, did not rule out the possibility that the firearm was carried out for protection while carrying out drug trafficking activities. 2 other men, aged 24 and 26, believed to be syndicate members, were also arrested in Butterworth. Still to come on Nightline, Kim Jong-un offers South Korea rare apology for killing an official. Stay with us. On to the foreign front. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has apologized after the fatal shooting of a South Korean fisheries official by the military earlier this week. In a formal letter to Seoul, the North conveyed Kim's message that he felt very sorry for disappointing South Korean President Moon Jae-in. South Korea said on Thursday the man had been shot dead by the North Korean troops and his body was burned. The North, however, said it had conducted its own investigation into the incident and found that soldiers near its western sea border had fired at least 10 shots at the South Korean. According to the North, the man was intruding into Pyongyang's waters and its military acted in accordance with regulations, adding that it was not the official's body they had burned, but the flotation device he was using. The troops, the North said, could not locate the unidentified trespasser during a search after firing the shots. On Monday, the official was reported to have disappeared from a fisheries patrol boat when it was about 10 kilometers south of the northern limit line, a disputed line of military control that acts as a de facto maritime boundary between the 2 Koreas. The killing is the first of a South Korean citizen in the North since 2008, when North Korean soldiers shot a female tourist they claimed had wandered into the restricted zone during a trip to Mount Kumgang Resort. China on Thursday lashed out at the United States over criticism on the novel coronavirus, with Beijing's envoy at a high-level UN meeting declaring that enough is enough. 2 days after President Donald Trump attacked China in his annual address to the General Assembly, its ambassador to the United Nations, Zhang Jun, strongly criticized the U.S.'s global role and rejected its baseless accusations against China. Speaking at the Security Council meeting on global governance attended through video conference by several heads of state, Zhang said China resolutely opposes and it rejects U.S.'s baseless accusations. He said some U.S. politicians have been obsessed with attacking other countries and UN bodies, abusing the platform by spreading political virus, creating confrontation and division.
Such practice cannot defeat the virus. On the contrary, it has seriously disrupted the joint efforts of the international community to fight the pandemic. I must say, enough is enough. You have created enough troubles for the world already. The U.S. is now standing against the international community and completely isolated. It's time to wake up.
He also said that if someone should be held accountable for the nearly 7 million confirmed COVID-19 cases and over 200,000 deaths in the country, it should be a few US politicians themselves. Using a phrase often told by US leaders to China, Zhang also said the US should understand that a major power should behave like a major power. The US ambassador to the United Nations, Kelly Craft, then voiced anger at the tone of the session, which was presided over by Nigeria's President Isufu Mahamadou. Earlier on Tuesday, Trump in his speech had demanded action against China for spreading the plague of COVID-19. Previously, China suppressed news of the respiratory disease when it emerged last year in Wuhan, and initial advice played down the risks of transmission. Countries where third-phase human trials of the Chinese-developed COVID-19 vaccine candidate are underway, Brazil, Indonesia and Turkey, will have access to it at the same time as China. Chief Executive Officer of developer Sinovac, Yin Weidong, said the first lots will be distributed on a priority basis in China and in parallel in those three countries with clinical trials. The executive also pointed out that the company is already building a manufacturing plant to boost production capacity of the vaccine, dubbed CoronaVac, to around 3 million doses a year. Yin, however, declined to name the approximate cost of the prospective vaccine, saying that the price tag will depend on a large variety of factors. Sinovac expects the vaccine to hit markets by end of the year. Indonesia reported its biggest daily rise in coronavirus infections for a third successive day, with 4,823 new cases on Friday. According to the country's official COVID-19 webpage, this takes the total number of infections to 266,845. Data also showed Indonesia marking one of the highest death tolls in Asia, with 113 new fatalities, taking the total number of deaths to 10,218. South Korea on Friday said it would impose tighter restrictions during the Chuseok autumn holiday weeks, when people traditionally reunite with families, flagging the risks of new coronavirus clusters. The new curbs are on top of the current Phase 2 social distancing, which limits indoor gatherings to 50 people and outdoor gatherings to 100 and bans spectators from sporting events. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency reported 114 new coronavirus cases and 2 deaths on Friday, bringing the country's total to 23,455 with 395 deaths. JDT's Champions March halted in Petaling Jaya. Actions from the Super League coming up next. It's good to see you again. Now, sports football, the Super League. 3 matches were played on Friday night. PJ City drew 2-2 with Johor Darul Takzim. Perak trashed Felda United 5-1, while Terengganu beat PDRM 4-0. At the MBPJ Stadium, JDT took the lead in the 35th minute, thanks to a goal from Safawi Rasid. 2 minutes later, PJ City levelled the score when Christy Jayasilan was at the right place and at the right time to tap home the rebound after the initial effort hit the post. K. Gurusamy later put PJ City in front of the 47th minute after they were awarded a penalty, and he calmly slotted the ball in from the spot. However, that wasn't the end of the action when JDT also earned a penalty of their own 2 minutes later, which Gonzalo Cabrera converts. Now let's take a look at the highlights in Malaysia's main newspapers for Saturday, September 26th. The New Straits Times focuses on Sabahans going to the polls on Saturday amid an increasingly worrying COVID-19 situation. Now, Malaysia's best-selling Malay newspaper Harian Metro, meanwhile, features an article on a drive-by shooting incident outside Banting Secondary School, which injured 5, including 3 children. Berita Harian highlights Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, who questions Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's claim that he has obtained majority parliamentary support to form a new government. Don't forget to get your copies or subscribe to the online newspaper. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at this village named Daduk Kampung in West Sumatra, Indonesia, which is well known for its beautiful traditional architecture. This village is famous for the thousands of gonjongs or pointed roofs, which attract tourists to visit. With that, I'm Preetha Manivanan. Thank you for watching and have a good weekend ahead.